So just as a brief introduction, this is another one of our client testimonial video in which we delivered project and then a couple of other tasks for the same project for 888 group for John and Peter. So now Peter is our CRM consultant who was involved in it, and John is the guy who was kind enough to give us the project to start with. So what I would do is I'll let John you to start with, and three things I want you to touch you upon is first, how did you find us? And then what is it that we did for your project? And what did you find in when you were dealing with us? How was your experience?
All right. So thank you for that, Raj. So as Raj mentioned, my name is John. I work with a company called 888 Group, and we are involved in residential land development and property development in Australia. And we were referred on to Raj and the team from another real estate agent who had used them previously. And what we were looking for was a system that could get us out of our spreadsheet. We were using one big Microsoft Excel spreadsheet to track all of our deals, all of our process, and all of our money that we were tracking across all of our expenditure. And we wanted to turn that into a CRM, a system that we could actually use and operate. Now, I had a bit of experience with CRMs in the past, and part of the reason why we wanted to work with Raj and the team is because we wanted to use a system called Zoho, which they supported and agreed with as a good system. But the most important thing for us is building a structure inside of that CRM that has long-term sustainability and application. Because if you start too complex or it just goes spread out everywhere and becomes a mess of a CRM, you'll never, ever come back from that. No. So what we originally did with Raj and the team was we built out a bit of a scope of works. We introduced the business, who we were, what we did, how we managed and tracked our deals. And they had a full look and everything in our back end to see what we had done to date. From that, we then discussed what we wanted. We explained that we wanted more insightful reporting. We wanted better deal tracking. We wanted automations and prompts to bring up suggestions of what we should be doing at certain points. And more than anything, we wanted to build a CRM that would actually protect us from ourselves. It was a CRM that would catch our mistakes, would suggest where we should be focusing on, and allow us to focus on where we need to put our attention in sales and marketing and things like that.
Beautiful.
So in working with Raj and Peter and the team, what we've now managed to build in a 3 to 4 month process is we've started from absolutely nothing, a bare bones system. We've then created a full working CRM environment using custom modules and multiple structuring layers, which I'm not intelligent enough to understand, but they are. And they've managed to build us a fairly sophisticated system that allows us to track all of our deals in all the very different ways we purchase them, track all those stages, and make sure that we can output good reports and good insights that mean that we don't waste money unnecessarily. It means that we are far faster in our administration because it's all there. But more than anything else, what it really opened up for us is cash flow tracking. It gives us significantly better insight on money in and money out of the business, when all of that will happen. And it's a system that now forecasts that for us. So all of that was built by them, and all we had to do was answer a few questions.
Awesome. So the first part was that scoping what is it that you want to achieve. And this is where Peter played a big role in that part when it was about figuring it out, which way we're going to go. Yes. And then there was another role that was played by me when we wanted to put architecture in place for all these custom modules that we wanted to bring in. Right. So Peter, now I think it's fair enough for you to ask, mate. What do you want to ask John?
Oh, look, I think,
feedback.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, Raj, with this particular project, I think John mentioned there briefly that he's had a bit of experience with, CRM projects and that kind of thing before. So to be quite honest, I think, I've got to give a bit of credit there to John for, displaying some of his skills there in actually providing information that we required, very efficiently. And it was kind of laid out for us so that we could interpret that information and translate it into Zoho, the way that they wanted.
I guess
So, yeah.
very truly, as you said, Peter, because it's not only what we can do, sometimes putting the information in such a way that we can transform the business requirements into the business solutions. And look, one thing that we would like to ask John is you dealt with me, you dealt with Peter as well, and some of our developers directly. I want to know what was your experience in how you handled the whole project. Not only what we delivered, but in provoking the questions and sometimes challenging your thought process as well.
I would say, Raj and Peter, that overall our experience is, I would say, good. It was, we set out a goal, we achieved that goal. And throughout that process, we had a lot of good feedback, but we also had constructive criticism. I remember a few conversations where you, Raj, were pointing out some of our short-term insight would not actually benefit us in the long term. And you actually challenged us on certain things and suggested that due to our lack of knowledge, we were about to create a problem. And yes, those conversations, to be honest, sometimes they were annoying. However, you did that out of best interest duty. You did that to look after us in the long run. And in a number of scenarios, there were things that we hadn't even thought of doing, but Peter came to us with pure initiative. I remember we didn't even know that a feature existed in the CRM that we could actually present data in a visually different way and a much simpler way. And I don't know how Peter did it, but he managed to nail something that looked like a system we all used to use about 4 years ago. I don't know how he came up with it, but it looked almost dead on. And that was pure initiative. We didn't suggest anything. He just came up with it and presented it to us out of nowhere. So things like that, I would say, leads to a great experience. And it's not just with you guys. Obviously, you've got a developing team behind the scenes as well. And that team were fairly communicative. You know, they were talking to us, chatting to us, giving us regular feedback on where they were up to with things. So I would say the experience was a good one.
Beautiful. So, Peter, look, it goes to you, my friend, the credit, what we call the capability of CRM, the canvas views. Those, right, Peter, this is one of your favorite.
Yeah. Canvas is certainly, it is, Raj. It's one of the features that, well, I'd say it's relatively new. So it's sort of, it's starting to mature a bit now, but particularly in John's project, I think it was really relevant to implement that. And I think they're getting good use out of it. But I'm also add there, Raj, that, just to finish up my little bit of input there, is that, whenever you're developing a CRM system, particularly working with a third party, there is a bit of teamwork involved. And I felt that kind of, with John's input and the stuff that he was getting from his directors, I think it came together quite well as a team, the way we implemented the projects. Teamwork was a big thing for sure.
Indeed. And look, the last thing that I would like to touch upon is, John, there are always lessons learned in any project. We learned some lessons in your case too, because say you are the only client who talks about your cash flow in the CRM. In general, we talk about these things when we go towards the finance modules, right? And in your case, you were not invoicing out of the finance of the Zoho. You were using your third party accounting system, which I'm not going to mention in this case, but what other lessons that you want to share and how would you like to recommend? Two parts here, right? One is Zoho. You have seen the capability of Zoho One. Also, if then somebody is looking for implement that Zoho One, how would you like to recommend ITSST?
Question. So I'll touch on the second part of that first, which is would I recommend or introduce someone to you guys in future? And the answer is yes. I think that because your expertise doesn't just cover Zoho, it covers other systems as well, which you can incorporate in if needed. I also think because, and this is two things that I really respected that I didn't get elsewhere. One was the initiative, for example, that Peter showed with those canvas views was completely unknown to us. And we never would have had that benefit if someone like him hadn't have mentioned it. And that's been a big game changer for us. Secondly, the fact that you, Raj, actually stopped us at some points and interrupted where you knew a problem was about to exist. There's a lot of service providers who don't do that. They are just focused on being yes, 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 and doing whatever the client tells them. But sometimes the client is not always right. The customer is not always right. And so it's good that we were caught out on that and you held us accountable. And in return gave us a good system. And so for those reasons, I would happily recommend your team to anyone looking for a CRM consultant. In terms of bringing in cash flow into the CRM as well, and sort of creating that as a full bespoke in-house little system, I think for us as a business, we are a small operation in the fact that there's literally only 3 people working together, but the sheer scale of the lucrative business that we're in and the volume of money involved, it requires those 3 people to all see everything together. And it took a bit of work, but you guys found us the solution to match our crazy idea. But what this has done now is this has now created the ability for 3 people, no matter where we're working from, no matter what system we're accessing, no matter whether we're in different countries or the same country or even in the same house, all 3 of us at all times can see exactly what each other are doing because we've set permissions that way. But it just means that we're all across the money, we're all across the deals, and we're all across the income and outgoing expenses. So we can all forecast what we're all going to get paid every month. And that has been an incredibly relieving experience. There's nothing lost in translation because everyone's got public view access to the same data. Now, I know, of course, you guys would know how to separate permission sharing. So sometimes only certain people need to see the money. Sometimes people don't. We were unique because we all wanted to see it. But having the ability to customize a very specific need, which is usually out of a business, and bring that inside, for you guys to bring us that solution was very helpful.
Awesome. Look, it's really glad to hear when you are almost the last end of the project, when you have delivered it and customer have started using it, and then they come back and give us a very good feedback, right? This is what is the biggest driver for all the developers and the consultants who work, because we do understand it's intangible product. Up until it is delivered, it's all up in the air. We can imagine anything, but if we are not able to transform and not able to bring it to your use, then it is of no use, right? So with this, then I would like to thank on the behalf of the team for the opportunity that you gave it to us to start with, and then your cooperation as well. I'm pretty sure, mate, our life was much more easier because of your know-how with other CRMs in the past. So that's why it was comparatively easy task for us, which is not always the case. Okay. So with this, I would like to thank you, John, for today's time as well. And I hope whatever the tips and these lessons learned that we have shared in this video testimonial, this might be of use to somebody else as well. So not only it's about getting our client recommending us and all, sometime without exposing the data, it is about sharing those, what we have achieved and what level of customization Zoho CRM and Zoho One is able to offer. Okay. So with this, I will say thank you to both of you, Peter, for your time as well, mate. And
thank you very much.
And we'll finish this video. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.